Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. Welcome back to a fresh new episode of Knock Off the Perch, wherein we talk everything Manchester United. If you are a Manchester fan and living under the rock, you haven't missed much. We have faced another drubbing by Manchester City, 3-0 loss. We went unbeaten against City last year completely, three fixtures, and we didn't lose. We went into this game on equally bad forms, both City and United. So there was a sense of hope, misplaced hope, I'd say. We came out very like we were the not the second best team. We were second best at almost everything in the game. Do you
Yeah.
agree with my assessment, Aroj? We never looked like winning the game, did we?
No, and just if I think overall why we do this, why we talk about Manchester United, one of the reasons was that we will try and discuss positive stuff. We will try to focus on the positives, and it's very difficult to find positives out of this game. It's just the performance. It didn't feel like the team could compete against this team, against this Manchester City team, which is a big problem. And the fact that we are able to maybe do okay, maybe do well in a couple of games and then drop off like this just signifies that this group of squad, this group of management, I don't think they are ready to take United to a competitive level. I think we have to accept the fact that we are a mediocre average team at best who can probably compete for being in the top half of the table and finish somewhere between seventh, eighth, ninth, tenth, one of those four positions maybe. And you could potentially argue that's a success for this team, right? Having finished 15th in the previous season, maybe not success, but at least an improvement that they have improved on the past season. And while I uh, can't question the manager fully, but you have to question what you're seeing on the pitch. We don't know what is going on behind the scenes. You have to question what you're seeing on the pitch. For first 10 odd minutes, maybe we looked okay on the pitch. I think the tactic was again to bypass the midfield, create those long passes and chances through that. And we were taking the ball towards the final third, but we didn't have a good pass in the final third, which was missing. And then after we conceded that one chance, we totally lost control of the game. They scored from that chance and we lost control of that game.
I
So yeah,
told you at some point of time before the game that if it ends up being a back-to-back basketball sort of match, it might suit us more than it does City.
yeah,
Because City, if they gain possession, if they are in their best form playing their possession-based game, it's very hard to get the ball off them. We ended the game with more possession than City. These are lopsided stats. If you were watching the game, nobody could say that United looked any close to winning that game more than City. And
yeah.
you're right. We say that the first 15 minutes were great, but it took 18 seconds for Haaland to have his first shot. It's quite close to the goal as well.
Yeah.
You have to imagine what space, mental space are these players in if 18 seconds into the Manchester Derby, they are facing a shot so close to the goal. What
Correct.
preparation goes into this? This is not even after a lot of matches. I mean, I understand that after the international break, it takes a week or two for teams to get into the groove. Did the absence of Mount and Cunha affect this? What did you make of the starting 11?
I have a lot of strong thoughts on the starting 11, but just on that point of Cunha and Mount not being there, did it impact Manchester United? I think it did, but it should not. I think if you're trying to build a system, if you're trying to build a squad which has to play in a certain way, then absence of two players should not dramatically downgrade the performance to such an extent. And which is my sort of issue with the starting 11 also. We talked about the fact that a back and forth match might suit Manchester United more. While playing Ugarte and Bruno in the midfield, we sort of went into the game saying that, okay, we do not really care about control in the midfield. And we are going to just intercept the ball, or we are just going to break play as quickly as possible, pass it to Bruno, who will quickly pass it ahead. Right, that was basically the play. Even Ugarte was trying some of those lobs
Mm.
directly over the City midfield. And with Ahmad and Embuemo there, the thought process was that we will be direct, we will take on players, we will try to find spaces in when they are trying to close down the spaces and maybe feed the ball into Sesko, but that did not happen. So I think,
It's not a bad tactic standalone because
yeah,
we saw a lot of these passes being completed to Ahmad. Ahmad did get the ball. He did get the ball in dangerous area. He did make those runs. Just
yeah,
the fact that Guardiol, Kuznov, these players were equal to our attack is the
yeah.
fact these attacks fizzled out mostly and didn't lead to quality attacks. They did lead to attacks. They didn't lead to quality attacks. Plus, I
Yep.
don't think we have the finishing in us
Yeah.
finish these attacks.
I think while you could say, you could argue that maybe it is personnel problem, not the system problem, but I think personnel make up the system. So if we are seeing this from outside, from thousands of miles away, Amorim is closer to these guys. Amorim is seeing these footballers do this day in, day out. Either he is overestimating the capabilities of these players, or he has a lot of trust in them, and on pitch mentality of these players is something that sees a drop off and they are not able to compete at the highest level. Come to think of it, I'm even questioning the decision to let go of Rasmus Hoyland and place Sesko in. I mean, while I have seen better movement from Sesko as compared to
Hmm.
Rasmus Hoyland, I have seen some glimpses of maybe that he can get into those right spots and take defenders on. But I don't think it is enough for us to justify getting another player, sending a
Hmm.
player who wanted to continue at Manchester United, because the team was not feeding the previous striker. The team has not been able to feed the current striker either. So was it really the striker problem? So that it also raises all these questions. And I know it's a difficult time when you lose a game like a derby 3-0. All these questions surface at those points in time. But at this point in time, it just feels like there are a lot of improvement to be required, and I don't see that coming this season.
The decision making left asking for a lot of times because Ahmad had a ball at the edge of the area a lot of times. Dorgu had the ball at the edge of the area a lot of times. And Sesko was in the positions he's supposed to be in. And yet these crosses weren't completed. Yet Ahmad and Dorgu both tried to take on players and then cut inside rather than go the aerial route. Maybe this could have changed. Second problem that I have is I'm all in with the stubbornness of the manager, with the system, with the tactics, as long as we are playing the players in their best positions. We know for a fact that the Fernandez experiment in the pivot, even though he's a good fit there, he's a better player for us and he is much more productive and effective player for us if he plays in one of the number 10 positions. In this match, having two number 10s out in Cunha and Mount, this was a perfect opportunity to do that. Mount could have started the game with Ugarte. If he was not going to play Casemiro, Mount and Ugarte could have been a perfect solution. I think Mount and Bruno provide equal amount of defensive cover, but varying amounts of attacking. And if Bruno was a bit more forward in number 10 positions, I think it would have been a very different game. And we have broken City with that Bruno in those positions. The fact that Bruno did not start in that number 10 positions, I'm very mad about. And I don't think it bodes well for us that we are. I think his exclusion of Menu
Hmm.
would be one of his downfalls because we have seen that happen with managers before. Ten Hag didn't play Ahmad. Managers before have clashed with players and not played them in their best positions or not played them at all. Menu, as soon as he came in, he was taking players on. He was making those runs forward. He was finding other players in better positions. The purpose of playing Menu is he makes the whole team better, finds the balls in the right wing areas. I could see that there were three decision points in Menu when he had to distribute the ball, and he'd always choose the right option. If I can see that, I'm pretty sure Amarim can see that too. And
And we know for a fact he can see that. In his
yeah,
press conferences, is saying that in earlier times when there was nobody who could calm the game down, who could be
yeah,
composed on the ball, Menu was the right fit because he was the only one doing that. And yesterday there was nobody doing that, and yet
yeah.
Menu was not on the pitch. So one, it goes on to tell me that he doesn't want to play that way, which I find a little baffling. You can't keep doing this back and forth 90 minutes, especially against a team like Manchester City. You can probably do that for 50, 60 minutes against a relatively weaker opposition and maybe get a couple of goals and you win the match based on that. But against City, you can't do that. One, it has a lot of mistakes in it. You leave a lot of spaces behind. And City capitalized on three of
Oh
those.
yeah,
They could have probably capitalized on three more. The chance
definitely.
in the 18th second, the open goal Haaland missed later, and then the Reinders chance, right? So they could have probably won it 5-0 or 6-0 with the same stats. It wouldn't we wouldn't have had a any other thing to say about the game, right? The same things we would have had to say about the games. I now it's getting a little difficult to remain positive, defend, and the fact is that you want to back the management, you want to back the coaching staff, to you have want to have trust in them that they will do the right things, because come to think of it, nobody wants to do the wrong things, right? They believe in certain things, and which is what now my thought process is getting to, that probably what Amorim had in his mind, the thought process, the playing style worked in Portugal, but maybe it is not for England. So a smart person, a smart manager will try and start tweaking things. And I think in the next couple of games, if we don't see that, I fear the worst.
No, definitely. This is the second nail in his coffin. This season itself, we have already lost to Grimsby Town.
Yeah,
We have lost to City now, and it's a drubbing. Right? 31 games, 31 points since Amorim joined United. We
yeah.
are the 17th. If we make a table, Premier League
Since
table out
Amorim
of
joined, yeah,
since Amorim joined, we are the 17th team in that table. Joining like only Tottenham has collected equal points as that 31 points.
yeah,
But in
yeah,
the same time, the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, and City have had 68, 68, and 67 points, I believe.
yeah, yeah.
That's more than double. That is the gap that we have to cover.
Exactly. And everybody has been talking about 31 games, 31 points. I'm saying forget that, right? We anyways thought the last season was a write-off. We didn't have the right players as per the Amorim system. We had a few links in the team which were probably not the best for the team. We have now shipped them out. Ineos has pretty much supported Amorim, maybe barring a midfielder, which could have been the only other addition to this squad. The Ineos has pretty much supported Amorim here. And after that, also, we are 4 points from 4 games. We have lost we are out of the two domestic competitions we are going to play. We're out of one of those. It's not just so the game against Arsenal, why it was different, that even after a loss, we
Hmm.
were a little upbeat about it because we saw the
Yep.
performance. In this game, we didn't see the performance, whatever the stats might tell you. And I am one of those people who go have a look at the stats, try and find positives out of them. But after looking at the game yesterday, the stats make no sense, because probably it was towards the end when that fast Amat cross Mbuemo could have put it in. That was like a point 0.5 xg chance. Then immediately after that, Bruno shot which landed on Casemiro's legs, that was another 0.47 xg chance. So just in that 1 minute we created 1.1 xg. Apart from that, we were nowhere in the game. After that fourth minute or whatever, Sesko shot, which was like a shot from outside the box, the next shot came in the first minute.
62nd. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, 61st, 67 minutes. So we were not in the game at all. We just couldn't get past the City defense and have a proper chance. So it's just that Amrim talked about that idea, right? Very first interview, he said that you will see that idea. But I'm sorry, we're not seeing that idea. And that is my biggest problem. And I think we have to start seeing that idea pretty quickly. Otherwise, I don't want another season to be a write-off. And this season, we don't even have any midweek games to look forward to. So that feeling of, oh, we lost another game is now going to last an entire week, which is very difficult to get through.
And City, according to me, are one of the title contenders this season. So it's understandable that we had the big gap against City. Yes, we had a few chances which where we could have scored. Maybe this scoreline would have been a bit different, but we were always the second best in this team, and we were always going to be the second best in the team. Question is, what next for Amar? What next for United? The next three games before the international break become very important for his future. And with the immediate one being at home against Chelsea. Chelsea have
Yeah,
started the season decently. Their defense have been in form.
yeah,
Their attackers, especially the new ones, Pedro has been playing well. Palmer, even though he was injured, he's returned with a goal in the last game.
yeah,
But this gives an opportunity for Amorim at home to show that his system works, that and he's able to adapt to change the system if something's not working.
Yeah,
What I hope to see in this game is some attacking impetus and defensive solidity. I don't want to see us bypassing the midfield with zero control throughout the game, feeling like only individual brilliance can get us out of the match. I really want to see the idea that you just mentioned that
yeah.
Amorim promised us. Otherwise, I don't believe it is the worst idea. Okay, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I don't believe it's the worst idea to keep sacking managers until we find the right.
But that strategy hasn't worked for us either, right? We have done that with so many managers. What is the guarantee that the next person who's going to come in
There's
is going
none.
to be able to deliver? So, I mean, what do you do?
There's none. I believe you do have to wait for the manager who comes in and has an instant impact,
Yeah, I mean,
as short
so
term
so the
as they may look like.
so the thing is that Ineos did their so-called deliberation and search and everything. And they went in for Amorim, who I'm sure, given what we have seen of him in public, in those interviews would have talked about that, I will play this 3-4-3 system.
Hmm.
I believe in a certain philosophy. I will play according to this. And Ineos believed in him at that point in time. The players that we have added probably are adaptable to different systems as well. So that may be okay. But Ineos have shown faith in him, and that is the one big decision that sometimes, like for example, Sir Jim Ratcliffe had been talking about the fact that there are some older players who we are still paying for, and now they've gotten rid of most of them. They've gotten rid of Rasmus Højlund, they've gotten rid of Onana from the squad, and they've gotten rid of the manager who used to be there when they came in Eric Ten Hag. So this is pretty much now shaping into their team, their manager. So Ineos will have to take the bullet and accept that they were wrong, which I don't know how comfortable they will be in doing. So they will keep backing the manager. I just hope it is not too late again, because you need to qualify for Europe at the least. 2 seasons out of Europe is going to be a disaster financially as well. So I don't know. I think, yeah, you're right. Next 3 games are very, very important. Funnily enough, he has another game with a promoted team right before the international break. So he might win that and just survive another international break. I don't know. At this point in time, I'm not Amor in, I'm not Amor out, I'm just Amor indifferent. I just want to see this team win games. I'm a little getting to that stage where performances aside, just win games somehow, right? Like Burnley game gave us a little bit of a relief
Hmm.
because we at least won that game. So yeah, there has to be focus on winning these games somehow rather than just focusing on that long term building the right identity.
Points on the board. I completely agree with that. That starts with Chelsea. Next week, we'll have the Garnacho snake come in. I really hope he gets the treatment which Angel Di Maria got. Even though he
Yeah.
hasn't publicly said much words about his exit, I
Yeah.
still feel he was quite unprofessional in his demeanor, and I hope that the players treat him
I can see
accordingly.
Casemiro. If Casemiro is on the pitch when Garnacho comes on, I can see him doing a tug to Garnacho and sending him on the side of that slopey stands that we have got.
I cannot wait for Licha to be back.
Yeah,
For some fire, some steel in our defense as well. Yesterday as well, Luke Shaw did end up making a lot of mistakes in his position. We
yeah.
could use some solidity over the back.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, on that rather somber note, I think let's close the video. Let's hope things get better. Let's hope we just get the results. I just want the results at this point in time. Hopefully, we get that and the ship can be stabilized to some extent. And yeah, as always, this is our perch. Let's knock him off. Until next time, stay united.